Hello my friends and welcome back to my channel. I hope that everybody watched this absolute fantastic presentation yesterday. And no, I'm actually not talking about this guy in the jacket. I mean, what is this actually? Anyway, I'm talking about the presentation in general. I am hyped for the Switch 2. I'm not just hyped because we have VRR. Yes, we're talking about this in a second. And I'm not just hyped because we have HDR. I'm actually also hyped because they presented or actually announced a game I'm waiting for a long time. So let's talk about hardware. Let's not talk about price today because otherwise this would be a rant video. Focus on hardware, focus on game in this video, and I would say let's get into it. Okay, so let's start talking about hardware because it's actually not the most important thing, but because games are most important, but you get my point. Anyway, let's start talking about hardware. Let's have a closer look on the LCD screen, what we're getting on the Switch 2. And yes, it's a little bit of a disappointment because some people were hoping actually for OLED, but I mean, it was to expect that we are not seeing OLED from the day one. Anyway, let's take a closer look on the specs, what we're getting from the LCD screen, and we're getting actually a 1080p resolution, and the size of this white color gamut LCD screen is 7.9 inch. That's a little bit bigger than on the old Switch. If it is better, that's a big question. So let's have a closer look what we have here as well. HDR10 support. This is absolutely exciting. And on top, and this was the information I was missing yesterday in the presentation, we have VRR support up to 120 Hz. Okay, so let's talk a little bit more about HDR10. And if you know me, if you know this channel, you know that I'm a huge fan of HDR. Especially when you play games or watch movies on a proper TV like the LG G4 here in the background. It's just a game changer in my opinion. But the main question is here actually, what is or how capable is actually the Nintendo Switch LCD screen in displaying HDR? And that's actually the biggest question I have. What is the LCD screen capable of? So I had a lot of LCD screens in my life, okay? I am looking actually right now on an LCD screen on my MacBook, and this LCD screen is capable of doing 1600 nits in a 16-inch display, okay? Great black levels, absolutely fantastic. If we're getting something similar, like the Retina display from MacBook, and I know that's a very wild speculation, but hey, that's what we would need to get proper HDR. Everything else with edge backlighting or something like that is not suitable for proper HDR. And one of the first things I will do when I have my Switch 2, and I pre-ordered it already, no worries, I will compare the old Switch in regards of some games with the new Switch in, also with games with HDR support like Zelda. So I'm really looking forward, what is the new screen actually capable of, and do we have a proper HDR experience? And the minimum what I would expect nowadays is roughly around 1000 nits. I mean, that sounds much for a portable screen, but hey, we have iPhones or phones in general with a much higher maximum peak brightness. So there is actually no excuse for Nintendo to not provide a proper HDR experience. Anyway, so let's move on and let's talk about VRR, which is in my opinion essentially, it's a must-have nowadays, especially when we're looking back on some Nintendo games where we have a very unstable frame rate, okay? Almost all Zelda games just running with 30 FPS. So I'm looking forward to have actually, maybe we just have an unlocked frame rate, or maybe we are getting fixed 60 FPS. I'm not sure, but especially a couple of Zelda games which are running with 60 FPS having a lot of frame drops. And I hope that with VRR, this is history, okay? So we don't need to worry about screen tearing and stuttering and stuff like that anymore. The only thing, or there's just one thing I'm actually a little bit worried about. And when we're now looking at the video output specs, then you may see why I'm actually worried about, or you may not see it because it's actually missing. There's nothing mentioned about VRR. So I just hope they completely forgot about this and it is, or it has, VRR output in docking mode, because this would be a huge disadvantage actually, because we are getting the best graphical quality out of the docking mode, okay? So, and we would like to have, of course, games, and it's supporting up to 120 Hertz. I mean, there will be some games, don't get me wrong. We are not seeing a Zelda games running in 120 FPS. No worries about that, okay? I'm more than aware of that. But there are some games that are capable of running with more than 60 FPS, and without VRR, it's just not possible. I mean, it is possible, but it will be just a big mess. So again, not having VRR in the docking mode would be, in my opinion, a big mistake. So if anyone knows a little bit more about that, because I heard already about rumors that we just having HDMI 2.0, which is not a good thing. But if anyone knows something, please put this in the comment section. Thank you. And before we're now talking about games, let's talk about the new chat feature. So first of all, apparently I need to buy a new GameCube controller because I'm missing the C button, okay? That's very smart from you, Nintendo, because it's just 120 Australian dollars. Anyway, so I'm looking forward to test this actually, the new functionality with the camera and stuff like that. I mean, it's just fantastic. I mean, don't get me wrong, it's a feature no one needs, but everybody likes or wants to have, because it is so fantastic if you have on a character or whatever the picture or the video from your friend you're playing with. That's absolutely fantastic. I love it. I love it. The only problem what I have with this one, I need to find some friends. Okay, but now it's about time that we're talking about games. First of all, we have Mario Kart World. I mean, that's a must buy anyway. When I find some friends, I can play online actually. Anyway, this is fantastic, this game. I love it. It comes, I mean, I played Super Mario Kart, what is the last 8? Okay, it is fantastic. I love this game and I have a lot of fun playing this with my kids. And by the way, I'm losing a lot, okay? Anyway, this is a must buy. Must play, and I pre-ordered the Switch with the Mario Kart World Edition, which is, as far as I know, it's just a download code. It's not the physical edition, unfortunately, but that's how it is. Anyway, I'm looking forward to play this game with my friends I hope to find. But now let's talk about the games I'm really waiting for. Zelda. Not that I haven't played them, but I never actually really played them. And the reason is very simple. First of all, 30 FPS is for me actually a no-go. I can play it on the Switch because the screen is very small and you can't see the 30 FPS stuttering, but no, okay, it's just too small at some point. You like to play this on a big screen. Now we're getting enhanced versions. For a little bit of a small amount, you know, you get HDR, you get enhanced frame rate, enhanced visual quality. I'm looking forward to this. But of course, you're not buying the Nintendo Switch 2 just to play enhanced or old games. I'm buying the Nintendo Switch just purely for one game, Metroid Prime. I'm a huge fan and this is a must buy. This is a must play for me. If you never played a Metroid Prime game, then it's about time. And when we're looking a little bit closer on the, unfortunately, very short presentation, I can tell you already, for me, this game is a masterpiece. And we can play it in 4K 60 with HDR or 1080p 120 FPS and also HDR. Stop. I know, we need to be careful when we're talking about 4K because we don't know what Nintendo actually means with 4K. It can be upscaled up to 4K with DLSS, but that's the point, and that's why I'm a little bit worried actually now with VRR, because do we really think that a game like Metroid Prime with this optics, and it looks fantastic, don't get me wrong, with those optics on a portable handheld, can run with fixed 120 FPS in 1080p? I doubt it actually. That's why VRR support in the docking mode is essential. And yes, I know there are many more games what Nintendo yesterday announced or presented, and one of the games is actually from software, from software, called the Duskbloods. And this is very exciting. As far as I understand, that's exclusive for Switch 2, which is absolutely fantastic, and I'm looking forward to play this one.
I give you my blood. I give you my life. Turn, O wheel, and transport him to a night of moonlight, to humanity's very dusk.
Close your eyes and contemplate now the moon, as befits the soon to depart.
I pray that you are able, carrier of blood.
Will flow for one, and one alone.
Okay, my friends, so that's it for this video, and I know I didn't mention a lot of things, but we can go on and on and on, because in my opinion, the presentation yesterday was really good. Okay, really good. So again, there's actually just one thing I'm worried about. Okay, VRR in the docking mode. Why is it not listed in the specs? Why is it just listed when you play in the portable mode? I mean, don't get me wrong, it's actually the opposite I would need it, because when I play my games on the Switch in the portable mode, I don't even care much about 30 FPS, despite the fact, or I don't even care less if there is stuttering, because it's such a small screen, you can't hardly see it. But I like to play my games on my OLED TV, and then it's a completely different story. Then you must have VRR because I don't like stuttering. I don't like 30 FPS anyway. And I would like to play with at least 40. Maybe there's not even something mentioned about 40 FPS mode. I mean, it is possible. Don't get me wrong. When we have a 120 Hertz output, we can have 40 FPS games. There's no problem, okay? So I hope that we see more 40 FPS games anyway. And again, I just hope we have VRR support in the docking mode. So again, if anyone has any information about the VRR capabilities in docking mode, please put this in the comment section. I would much appreciate it, okay? So anyway, I think that's really it, okay? HDR, I mean, what else to say? I'm looking forward to do a lot of comparison videos between the old Switch and the new Switch with the HDR screen. I'm really looking forward to it, okay? Because hopefully Nintendo is not trying to save money on the LCD screen, because this would be such a huge difference to the old Switch, okay? I'm not even talking about 30 versus 60 FPS if we get this as well, you know, in certain games. But just the HDR capability is a step up in my opinion. Okay, I think that's enough for today. Thank you very much for watching me. I see you guys next time.